Hey fellow fragrance friends and enthusiasts, welcome back. It's Benjamin here at the Centaur Fragrance Channel, showcasing some more beautiful fragrances for y'all and with you guys, ladies and gents. So welcome back. I hope that you're doing fantastic. In the comment section, please share with me your scent of the day, how you're doing, and any new beautiful fragrances you have came across and explored recently in your fragrance journey. So today we're going to be talking about, Tsvga, a brand new fragrance house. I think that's how you're supposed to say it. I'm doing my best over here. I struggle with saying the name of this brand correctly, but I think Mr. Niche Scents calls it Tsvga. And if you don't know about this brand, Mr. Niche Scents is the guy who created this brand. He's the founder, he's the owner. He made these fragrances happen. He's a fragrance enthusiast and a fragrance reviewer, just like me. And he put his brand out there, invested a lot of money, and made these fragrance creations by hand. So, kudos to him. He did a wonderful job. He was actually generous with me. I do want to put that out there, and he decided to send me a discovery set because I'm such a curious nose, and he knows I'm curious, and I love to showcase indie and niche fragrances out there. So he was generous with me, so I do appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Niche Scent. Thank you over there for your generosity towards little old me. Anyways, let's talk about these fragrances. There's a bunch of them. I don't think I'm going to be able to do justice to all of them because they're so complex. They use natural notes, and I haven't memorized all the different types of notes and all the wizardry and all the magic he's put into these fragrances. But I'll do my best to give you a quick summary of each one of these and a quick introduction, and I'll tell you which ones are my favorites at the end of the video. So let's jump into these fragrances. They're quite exciting, and these are definitely a little bit more on the artistic side. They're not unwearable. Definitely wearable, but I do want to say that these are a little bit more on the daring side. So if you are still in the designer world, these fragrances might not make sense to you, and especially if you haven't dabbled in Mansara or Montal, or even some of the mass appealing niche houses like Gallivant or Byredo, some of those types of houses that are lighter and fresher, you might not be ready for these. But let's jump into them. These are fun. The first one I kind of wanted, I'm not trying to get rid of it, get it out of the way, but it is an oud, and some people love the oud, and some people don't want to hear any more about the oud. Too much oud. Anyways, this fragrance is a wonderful thing. It's a little bit, I don't know, it's not terribly animalic. It's a little bit smooth and resinous, and you will find that there's a certain texture to these fragrances, and a number of them. This one has some of that texture to it, almost like a fur to it. Again, I get a little bit of like a gray fossilized amber to this one. It's very calming, but yet it's a oud. It still has a little bit of a provocative a character about it. Again, a little bit animalic and almost a little bit furry, a little bit almost stone-like, and I think that's interesting that it's called milestones. And this fragrance really evolves and has different stages with different types of oud. I'm going to do full-length reviews of these in the future, so I'll be able to tell y'all more details. This is a video that I'm trying to keep at 10 minutes or even under 10 minutes. I can't do justice to a fragrance like that or any of these. Each fragrance needs 10 minutes or more at least. So let's jump to the next one, but that is a fascinating oud fragrance. It's definitely calming and a little bit, I wouldn't say deep or dark, but it's definitely a little bit more on the reserved side. But it's still, it still has performance for sure though. The next one is one of my favorites. This is Osmanthus Toboggan. This is a really interesting fragrance. Osmanthus almost smells like a combination of freesia and lavender. It has an interesting dry quality. It's like a dry purple floral almost. It's very clean. There's a cottony quality to this fragrance. To me, it reminds me of sweater and like herb tea and like a sweater on a cold morning. It's quite a beautiful fragrance. It's one of my favorites. It's cozy in a very interesting floral way. Probably one of my favorite florals of all time. And just a fragrance that to me is very clean, but at the same time cozy. And I find that quite interesting and remarkable. And I find the fragrance quite calming. So beautiful fragrance. Can't speak enough good about that one. Osmanthus Toboggan, really, really nice. It's not medicinal or overtly herbaceous, but it's in that direction, and I think it's done so well. So the next one is called Shirley. Now this one, I sometimes get mixed up with another fragrance here we'll talk about later on, but this one, guys, is a beautiful fragrance. This one, to me, quite smoky. I think it's made to be a very, very smoky fragrance. Again, I could be mixing it up, but this is quite an unusual fragrance that it's smoky, and yet it has almost some yellow qualities, like aldehydic qualities behind it. And it's just very, very smoky. I think that's most of its focus. It's supposed to capture a bonfire and be probably, it's intentionally made to be a very, very smoky fragrance. So smoky fragrance lovers, get your nose on that one. This one, next one, is called Blue Heaven. Now, this fragrance is a fragrance that uses blue notes and things that are naturally blue in nature. Supposedly, this whole fragrance is using naturals, and this isn't even colored. This is a naturally blue fragrance, you know, by color, but it's using things that are in nature that are blue to come to a fragrance that smells somewhat aquatic and somewhat blue. So it's kind of like an anti-aquatic in a way. It's really fascinating that he was able to do this. So I was able to pick out like a blue chamomile, like a blue tea out of this fragrance that I thought was really interesting. So again, it does come off a little bit airy and a little bit cottony in its own way. And there's all these really interesting, multifaceted, blue, calming type of accords to it. It does manage to somewhat smell blue and somewhat smell aquatic. And it's a very interesting, fresh fragrance. Very wearable, but also interesting in its own right. So check this one out, Blue Heaven. If you want a really interesting wearable blue fragrance that's completely different from anything you've ever probably tried before. So again, I don't know all the notes. I haven't memorized them. I'm going to do individual reviews to get, you know, do more justice to these. This is just a quick introduction, guys. I'm doing my best. I hope that you're liking this video. Please let me know in the comment section if I'm doing a good job or not. So the next one is called Juxtaposition, and I don't honestly remember many of the notes of this one. To me, this is more of a, it's like more of a resinous fragrance. I don't remember the notes. There's, again, a little bit of animalics here, but it's more of a resinous fragrance. A little bit animalic, but it's kind of a blend of things. To me, this is it's kind of a, I guess, juxtaposition where it has some elements where it's animalic and some elements where it's resinous. So it kind of battles between a little bit of freshness and a little bit of darkness, kind of, you know, kind of being in between light and dark. So going back and forth. So really interesting fragrance. I also get a tiny bit of, I don't know where it's coming from, but I get something that reminds me a little bit of chili. So something interesting about that one. Check it out, Juxtaposition. It's a curious fragrance. It makes you think a little bit. So the next one is called Melfira, and I know that I don't do this fragrance justice. This fragrance, to me, let's spray this one on. Let's find some open skin and give this one a little bit of a shot. This is a it also makes me think of, to me, it makes me think of goldenrod. To me, it makes me think of yellow florals that are kind of fuzzy and have a lot of petals. And it's also turns kind of smoky, but again, the smoke here, it's like an animalic that feels smoky. It's kind of a contradiction. He has a lot of these fragrances that have really interesting twist on them. And this one also is very smoky as well. I'm not sure exactly what this one is about. I'll have to get back to y'all. I'm trying to do these fragrances justice, but Melfira is fascinating. To me, it speaks a little bit more. It's not a chypre. To me, it leans a little bit more. Perhaps it could be resemble that DNA a little bit, but to me, it makes me think of more of the classic, I don't know, animalic side of things, but it doesn't have as much of the florals as you would expect. It's a little bit more on the smoky side, and it has this sweet, almost like sweet spice that comes underneath it. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but interesting stuff, that's for sure. The next one is called Mirander, and this is the biggest compliment getter of them all. This is based on myrrh. A lot of people like myrrh, or perhaps have told me that they wanted to know where to get a myrrh fragrance. This is very calming, big top seller, and very sweet and buttery and rich, and has a lot of myrrh. I think there's hidden notes up there. I don't think he's admitting to it. I think there's some magic he's done in this one, but fantastic fragrance, worth checking out. The last one, or the second last one, oh, there's a couple more in there, but this is called A Man in His Pipe. This is a rustic tobacco smelling fragrance, animalic and furry, and absolutely gorgeous. This is one of my favorites from him. I gotta get this one. This one will be in my collection. It has a lot of different elements that are animalic, but it's gorgeous. If you're an animalic lover, this one's done very well, and to me it's very tantalizing, and I'm going to be giving that one an outstanding review, giving that one really high kudos and marks. The next one is called Vicky Lynn. This one is very, very smoky. This is the one that's supposed to smell exactly like a campfire, and this one is perhaps the most smokiest fragrance I've ever smelled. outstanding fragrance, but very, very smoky. For you guys who want a very complex old world smoke fragrance, that one doesn't play any games, and the performance is out of this world. So the last one is called Wine and Chocolate, perhaps the most mass appealing out of the bunch. I know that one's going to sell well. I know that people are going to love it. It's a really, really nice fragrance. It's worth checking out. Wine and Chocolate, a little bit more rustic, but yet sweet and tantalizing with a bittersweet chocolate. Absolutely really nice juice. So anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap up this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share the video, and tell a friend. This is a really fascinating house. It's hard to describe the magic and the effort he's put into these fragrances, and I can't do them justice in just one video. So you're going to have to stay tuned for these individual reviews. I hope that you liked me introducing this house. These fragrances are really hard to explain. The magic and the effort that's put into these are more artistic. But guys, let me know in the comment sections below. Do you like artistic fragrances? Do you like complex fragrances? Are you excited to hear more details as I test these fragrances? I've only tried them a little bit. I don't think I can do fragrances of this complexity and do it justice with just smelling it once or twice or 3 times. I got to try it more. I really got to test them and explore the beauty behind them. So I'll catch you next time. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Wear what you love and rock what you got. I'll see you in the next video, and peace out and bye.